I heard he was doing Deadlock now. Because I did grind Deadlock when it was out. I got a key and like Hron, Bus Driver, Litz, Juvenile and we were grinding Deadlock for like 12 hours a day for a whole month. I think I got like 250 hours on Deadlock just from that 1 month that I played. But that was like over a year and a half ago or something. And after that I just never really played again, because the game wasn't really seeming like it would be competitive soon. So I just never really played again. Plus, I don't know why the fuck Deadlock is also third person. It should be first person, but it's third person and then there's no hit scan. There's like one hit scan hero and that's it. Did you ever play Unreal Tournament? No. Not really, no. I do not find, like... Oh, there's the first frag for ARSENY. Like, what I like about Unreal Tournament is that the fight system in Unreal Tournament seems to be a lot more versatile than Quake, right? Because it has the same weapons, but it also has the secondary fire, and then you have the dodging, which the dodging in UT makes the game very dynamic in fight, right? Because a fight can be turned around with a couple, if you dodge properly inside a fight. So it's a lot more dynamic, but the dodging is also what makes moving around the map so fucking boring. Oh my god. But yeah, I really like the fight mechanics in UT from seeing others play. Diabolical did have a good thing when the dash when introduced. It's something that really helps new players. I'm just sad they didn't add more things for new players, because the rest of it seemed to just be advanced things for veterans. Yeah, the get hit cooldown was a bit weird. But I get it, because people were just abusing it. And Weeballs, I don't know what... Like, Weeballs is not for new players. They're just another mechanic that makes new players get abused by better players. And the only thing that makes the Weeballs, it's something that is bad for newcomers, and it's only good to dilute the skill gap between pro players and semi-pro players. That's what it does. It doesn't really help new players at all. And I guess that's a fine balance, right? Because when you introduce something, you're gonna be like, okay, who is this good for, is this bad for? And it's not always easy to predict. They could have used the dash to forward only, so I can use back out something, if you got to run, you turn around. That's good. Yeah, that would have been a great move. So that they wouldn't need the cooldown thing after getting hit or something. But yeah, I think almost every AFPS clone is doomed, because devs only think about making the game competitive from the get-go and making it esports and making for the pro players, and they not once think of the newcomers. Usually they try to put newcomers and casual players in the same bag when it makes no sense. I enjoyed 1899, I think it was for fun FPS and esport type, the volatility of some guns. Rogue, I don't know what the direction of Rogue was, to be honest. Rogue seemed to be an AFPS plus roguelite plus card game thing. It was weird, right? I don't know. I think they tried to do too much in Diabolical Rogue. Because like it's cool to make it kind of like roguelite, like with loadouts is cool. Loadouts are really cool, and the fact that you have a progression system per game is really cool, or like per match it's really cool. But then if you pick, you can be upgrading like one single weapon for 3 rounds, and then in the 4th round you don't get that weapon anymore. It's random. What the fuck? That is like the most unsatisfying thing ever. That part just literally ruined the game for me. Like, why the fuck am I updating rockets if I'm never gonna get rockets anymore? Why the fuck am I updating shaft if now the next 6 rounds I'm never gonna be able to pick up shaft again? It just... I don't know, I did not like that part at all. If they wanted to limit the amount of weapons that they had, they should have made it like COD 4 did, which was basically you could have 1 or 2 snipers per team, and you could have like 2 mini AKs per team. And then they could limit like that, like make only 2 players have rails, 2 players have shafts, instead of just randomizing it. That was just weird. I did not expect ARSENY to be struggling so hard versus Sivasek. Because I think ARSENY played Helldown and won easily. I don't actually remember the scores of that. But yeah, I expected ARSENY to actually beat Sib. Like, I always thought that the roguelite FPS would do very well. Because I've generally have even tried to get into game development so I could make a Quake roguelite. In a few different ways, right? Like, I would love for there to be like a 80s like, you know, top-down view with Quake weapons. Like, you choose LG and you have to upgrade it in the middle of the game, etc. And you have to do it with every weapon. Of course, you only get 1 weapon per run or whatever. That would be cool. I'd like to make that in top-down, and then I would also like to make that in like FPS, because I think that could be very cool as well. And you could have runs with that. Like, that could be... It wouldn't be multiplayer, but it would be single player, but like you could have runs, right? Like, this guy got like 3 minutes after, like 3 minutes per stage, using LG and getting these upgrades with his seed or whatever, if anyone can get faster. I don't know, it could be fun. These parts fucking FPS, art specification, yeah. I don't know what, I think when devs, they just try to clone the existing things of Quake and try to, and then they don't know if they want to make it for like new players or hardcore players. Quake Champions also did the same, because like if you remember the first couple of trailers for Quake Champions was like, oh, this is for everyone, this is for little Timmy or whatever, and then the trailer after, this is for hardcore players, and the next trailer was like, oh, this is our esports, and they didn't really know, or they didn't really seem to know what the target audience was. And I really like that Quake Champions had the champions first, because I thought, oh, they're gonna finally segregate the hardest part of the game, which is the weapons, but then they didn't have loadouts. They had the champions, but not the loadouts. But I get it, because if they wanted to make it duel, then you can't segregate the weapons, but I don't know why we keep going on with the duel thing. If we want to make it duel, we can't really segregate anything. Because then it just doesn't really make sense, unless you want to make it just 3 weapons and that's it. Exactly. Think about partification, is that you never can focus on esports when making a new game. First you make it fun, and then the players will play it. Like, you make it fun and then put money on it. That's it. Look at the biggest esports in the world. They're not made for esports. They're just made for fun. There's a lot of players, and then if you want to make esports out of that, you can literally change. It's like you can make a competitive mode. I don't know why we need in Quake, it's like the settings of the duel mode, the duel in public servers and the duel in pro competitive is the same. It doesn't have to be the same. Every game changes that, but Quake doesn't. Like in Counter-Strike, if you go play a public server to Counter-Strike, or if you go play a competitive game in a tournament, the settings are very different. You need to make it fun, that's it. You need to make it funny to grow a player base, because then the pro players will play for anything, it doesn't matter. Even if the game isn't competitively fucking balanced, it doesn't fucking matter. Just make the game fun first.
1 minute warning.
But yeah, unlucky. God, we might actually go to overtime on this.
Lost.
With official then, we have so okay, look, give me $10 million and I'll make a fun AFPS. I will make Team Fortress 3. I think TF2 is probably the most fun game, or one of the most fun FPS I've ever played, but I don't think Valve ever gave a fuck about it. My god, Sib won the first map. And he's showcasing his Twitch. I think he's probably streaming as well. I did not expect Sib to beat ARSENY like this. Thing is, if you would make TF3, and if you add Quake weapons to it, in like some CS weapons or whatever, like 1-2 weapons per loadout, would you still call it an AFPS after? Because for me, AFPS has already been solved, and AFPS was solved with TF2. It's the natural evolution.
Vote now.
If you look at TF2 and then Overwatch, basically every weapon you see there is a AFPS weapon. They just realized, okay, this is very fun, but we can only make it fun for new players if we segregate the part that the most confusing part, right? It's the weapons. Imagine if Overwatch, if instead of having one weapon per hero, if you have one hero with all of the weapons, which are like 15 of them, then you have Quake again. But for me, that is the hard part about the FPS. It has been solved. And if you wanted to make something that is even closer to Quake, then you could, like, Quake Champions also had an interesting way of kind of solving the FPS issue, right? I don't think they realize it, but Unholy Trinity, for example?
Prepare to fight.
I don't understand why weapon pickup is confusing though. It worked for Quake 3 and 9 back then. You know why? Because there weren't any good games at that point. As soon as people realized, oh, this is okay because there's nothing else, but once there's something that's actually fun, it's very easy to see what people will gravitate towards. Quake just died because better and more fun games came out. Like, but Quake Champions kinda solved the FPS issue with the Unholy Trinity. Because if you only have 3 weapons, then it stops being so hard for players, right? And if you make a new Quake, I would hope they only have the 3 main weapons. At least in like public servers, only have those 3 main weapons. Because that doesn't really confuse new players. It's only 3 weapons, but when you have 9, like for us it's simple. Like even if you have 9 weapons, you might only use 3, but you know what those 3 are. A new player doesn't know which those 3 weapons they should use or when to use them. But if you only have those 3 weapons, it's not that complicated. And it's actually easy to understand. It takes a lot less time to understand what the fuck you're doing. And you can only start having fun once you understand what you are doing. And keep in mind, the AFPS is literally the only genre where you have more than 2 weapons in your hand that are so completely, vastly different. No other genre of game has that. And AFPS is completely that. This has been like a 1-hour rant so far. Let's focus on the games a bit. Oh wow, he actually got another kill. Do you think having 3 main starting weapons to be machine gun and some weak versions of railgun and rocket launch could be viable then? We're finding better versions LG along the way. You could do it like that. There's a lot of ways to do it, but why do you want players to eventually find more weapons? Like, weapon pickup is fine, but do you want them to then have like 7 weapons in their hand at some point? Because that's what really breaks new players' brains, to have that many weapons. Like, you can have weapon pickup, but don't allow them to have all the weapons in their hands, because then they get confused. Look at Apex or like Fortnite or whatever. There's like so many more weapons, but they're all kind of the same style, and you can only have 2 in your hand. with new ones replacing the old one. That would be fine. But then don't have 3 weapons. Just have 1 or 2 weapons, not more. But I still think, like, if you're in pub servers, there shouldn't really be weapon pickups. Just have the, like, if you've played Quake Champions, you've seen UHT, right? Which is basically, it's UHT free for all. I believe the main mode of Quake Champions should be UHT TDM or something along those lines, or UHT Clan Arena. UHT Clan Arena would probably be the best starting mode for any new player in Quake ever. Besides Instagip. FPS have to have more single player. I don't really care about single player. You could have, but I don't particularly care. I don't think it's much of a deal breaker. I think people who like single player games play single player games. If you like multiplayer, you can play multiplayer. Like, look at Apex, Fortnite, there's no single player content. Counter-Strike, there's no single player content. I don't think it's a deal breaker. Yes, it could help to understanding the weapons, but wouldn't it be easier for everyone, instead of hoping people would then play the multiplayer and understood the tutorials, to just have that part properly done? Because, like, I've never played a tutorial in my life. When I go to other games, I don't care. I would still be completely dumbfounded when, if I was a new player to Quake, I would skip the tutorial and then realize, oh, I don't actually understand what's going on. Fuck this game. Are you sure it's actually because it's complicated to have more weapons, or because of the extra edition? I think it's just generally complicated. Look at UHT. You have 3 weapons in UHT. UHT in Quake Champions is the mode with the most highest retention of players. Like, I see so many players from, like, other games, especially from aim trainers, they play UHT because it's the only mode where they can actually understand what the fuck is going on. And they won't play TDM because in TDM you actually to pick up weapons, and then there's a lot of weapons. But in UHT they start with those weapons and it's only 3. It's generally it's still the Quake, right? Because you still have Rocket, Rail, LG, but it's only 3. And those players don't even play Impulse 9 because there's too many weapons. UHT, and it's just so good. But it still keeps the essence of Quake, which is the fight with the 3 main weapons, without overcomplicating it with 9. And I don't need... And this doesn't mean that, oh, then Rafa and Cooler wouldn't have pick-up weapons and it would just be too simple. No, that's fine, just have... If you wanted to have duel or, like, competitive game mode, that's fine. You don't need to have the pub game the same as your competitive mode. That makes no sense. No game has that. Only Quake. I would say you're probably in the minority in that bitter punch. When it comes to, you know, wanting to play... Like in Quake Champions, for instance, I play a lot versus bots. To arm up, basically. Because it's easier than waiting 10 minutes for a queue. But I think that's kind of wherever. Some games have single player, other games don't. Like CS, you're not gonna find single player CS. Not really gonna find single player Fortnite. Or Apex, or any of those games. Even Overwatch, you don't. It's kind of whatever. I would like there to be, especially like something like roguelite Quake. ARSENY, yeah, destroying ARSENY, and I'm actually so surprised. Oh wow, and as we say that, ARSENY calls EG. What the fuck?